can't tell you for sure when the aging thing slowed down, but it must have been early on. Now you figure I'll be 167 this year. I can still pass for 45 in just about any country in the world, except maybe Japan. Right? I look 60, 65 for some reason. I'm carrying some extra baggage, I know, but I've got plans to streamline the whole operation and make it more efficient. If everything goes as planned, I'll be worldwide within 2 decades. And before you notice it or bring it up, I'm dodging the weight issue. You should also. The tree! God, the tree. Sometimes that tickles me the most because it was just so arbitrary. I mean, it could just as easily have been a mailbox or a pigeon coop. Can you imagine people dragging a big pigeon coop into their house, covering it with tinsel and lights and putting a big star on the top of it? And would you have had to have the pigeons too? I mean, would that have been part of it? The only reason that tree was even there was because I had that big plot of land next to the slide that kept taking on water and making a mud hole. So I dug up that old evergreen from behind the tool shed and stuck it in there. Be damned if that thing didn't flourish there too. Within a year, it was twice the tree it started out as. The boughs kept some shade on the kids and there was no more mud hole. Problem solved. For quite a while, it was just food I was putting under there. You know, chicken, bread. Stuff I could wrap up. I stuck it up under the boughs of the tree so nobody could see it even just walking by. They'd have to be looking for it. So as long as I could put it there discreetly, it would sit there until the kids could get to it. Somewhere in there, it became the hiding place for everything. I think a lot of that was just in fun. I mean, the kids could have just spoken to each other, but it was more fun to leave a secret coded message under the tree. I know for a fact that some of them slept under there when things were rough at home, but they didn't talk to me about that, and I don't like thinking about it. I find it interesting that over time, the tree has become more a place of discovery than of hiding. And I suppose that once you take fear out of the equation, those two things really aren't that very far apart. Still, it's become to stand as something beautiful that I get at least partial credit for. So now, class, let's discuss art as an arbitrary creation against divine intervention and intellectual superiority. Go! I do want to address one issue here. We've all seen these etchings and lithographs or whatever of turn-of-the-century Christmases, and they have candles in the tree instead of lights. Candles. Now, who the hell thought that? I'm thinking, oh, honey, let's cut down this tree and dry it out. And then prop it up inside our house and put live open flames all over it. Give me a fucking break. It never happened. Think about it. Thousands of people would have burned to death every single year. But people have bought into that forever. Yeah, it's a damn good thing that the whole hand grenade thing in the 60s never caught on. We'd be a nation of fingerless, deaf idiots. It was always my intention to get to the kids who weren't going to get anything otherwise. And certainly how I started. I spent every penny I had just keeping my neighbor kids from starving. But as my awareness grew, I came to see that there were children who did magnificent things. Children who made decisions and choices that grown adults would quake at. These children needed to be shown that goodness could be rewarded. They needed to know that someone saw what they were doing and loved them for it. Now, I can never get them all, of course. It's just not possible. But every year I do a little bit better. I branch a little further out. Mom puts my name on a couple of tags, and I get a free pass. That, by the way, is a tremendous act of generosity which I owe almost entirely to the women of the world. Most of the men are still waiting for their pro-draft football games. The suit is actually something that I borrowed from the poets and storytellers. I knew I needed something recognizable. Given my choice, I probably would have gone with something other than red. But other than that, I'm pretty happy with the design and the fit. All that crazy fur and stuff, that's Rockwell, fucker. What's up with the guy anyway? I mean, Mr. Happy Grandpa, blah, blah. And every damn thing he ever painted is so American that you have to be a fascist not to believe in it. You can't speak out against Norman Rockwell, folks, not publicly. People will string you up by your nuts. Because that one barbershop in that one painting looks 100% exactly like the one their Uncle Jerry had when they were kids. Took them right back to when they were 7 years old again. Except they've forgotten all about the dirty cracked mirrors and the nasty combs and the roaches under the magazine rack. They've forgotten that Uncle Jerry was a pathetic drunk who didn't really own the shop and lost his lease a year later and drank himself into a diabetic coma when he was 47. All they remember is that they got their hair cut there one year, the week before Christmas, and that's the year they got that old Lionel training. Boy, they wish they still had that old dead Jimmy. So I had to help make me a suit, and I wear it whenever I want. Not that people see me most of the time, but, it allows me some separation in my life. It allows me to turn off the Santa machine every once in a while. Be just a normal guy with normal needs and desires. Here's something I'll never understand. Mothers will shove, prod, and even bribe their children to come sit on my lap so they can take a picture. But if I get a little bit too close to them while I'm ordering a drink, I'm invading their personal space. What the hell? You can trust me with your kids, but I become some incredible leech-like creep the minute they're not around. That seems like an incredible amount of prejudgment to me. And I'm not going for women out of my league either. Everybody asks me that, and I really don't think that's what I'm doing. I figure I'm a solid 5.6 on a 10 scale. I figure that at any given time, the whole Santa thing is worth 0.7 points. So, if I'm having a 6.5 night, I never shoot for anything over a 5.5. I'm having a good night, and I'm still aiming a clean point beneath me. And from the get-go, I'm making the fat and pretty, ugly, nice body decision. When you start getting shut down by that, that's when you start telling people you live at the North Pole. I'm not even really that strange of a guy. I mean, I don't like sports, but I'm not like a Dungeons and Dragons player or something. I mean, you should see the shit those creepy little fuckers ask. I don't watch porn. I spend less than an hour a day on the internet, and I've had the toilet seat thing down since I was a kid. I have a foul mouth, and I eat too much, but I'm faithful and I make a decent living.